Hello, this is Anne Green, and welcome to We've Got Books. And boy, do we ever. We are three authors, myself, Anne Green, author of 37 books, Lana Newman-Kruse, author of 3 books, and James Yarbrough, author of 12 books. We are coming to you from the, at least today, cold Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, but where the sun still shines bright and the skies are not cloudy all day.
Hi, I'm Lana Newman-Kruse.
And I'm James Yarbrough.
We'll be your hosts for We've Got Books, and we're excited to be connecting with you. We are authors who delight in telling you about our newest books, as well as interviewing other exciting new and established Christian fiction writers. Our goal is to introduce you to some great Christian fiction. We'll focus on getting to know authors and discover why we write books, because backstories are fascinating. We'll discuss fiction of different genres: suspense, romance, historical, mystery, humor, women's fiction, and more. Have you ever read a sensational book and wondered about the author who wrote it? We'll sit around the table chatting to get to know each author and how his book was created, from a dream to reality. Today, Lana Newman-Kruse will be interviewing James Yarbrough, a colleague who writes in a variety of genres, including teen adventure, which we'll cover with him now.
Thank you, Anne. Welcome to the podcast, Jim. I've interviewed you before about other genres of books you've written, but today we're talking about what you call your teen adventure genre. Can you tell us why you decided to write this kind of book and give us an overview of it?
Yes, thank you, Lana. I certainly can. And thank you for the opportunity to discuss my book, which is entitled Liquid Moon. Liquid Moon is an adventure story set in the near future. Its main character is a 16-year-old boy, Tom Gordon, precocious and hardworking, who has the opportunity to accompany his father to the moon to help with an exciting engineering project. A sidebar, yes, flights to the moon are expected to become more and more frequent even in the next 5 to 10 years, but more on that later. The reason I wrote this kind of book is because thinking back when I was a boy and enjoying some great adventure stories with uplifting positive values, I realized there aren't nearly enough of those kinds of contemporary stories out there for boys today. So to our listeners, who are probably adults, I'd say if you have a son or grandson, consider buying Liquid Moon for a boy or boys in your life.
Well, you've piqued my interest, Jim, and I do have a 12-year-old grandson. I'm going to tell him about this. So I'm curious, what sort of adventure stories did you enjoy as a boy yourself?
Well, thanks for that plug, Lana. Well, first off, thanks to my mom for drilling into me the habit of and interest in reading. She was a wonderful lady. About some of the adventure stories I read, the classic ones were great, like various stories associated with King Arthur and the Round Table, and James Fenimore Cooper's stories, and biblical stories, too. They were certainly in that category. Ones about David and Noah and Elijah and Gideon. Then there were contemporary stories, and this really dates me, like the Hardy Boys series of books. An exciting series, Johnny Quest, focused on worldwide adventure, study, and honest hard work. And back then, TV shows by Disney and others on the standard television networks were very exciting and reinforced positive values too, such as courage, selflessness, and truth-telling. I also read a lot of nonfiction books about famous men when they were boys, such as George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and American military men. Today, in my opinion, there are just not enough unambiguously clean and positive adventure stories for boys, and particularly not the kind of stories that also emphasize Christian perspective and worldview, which Liquid Moon does. And another reason for this book is to demonstrate how Christian boys and men can be strong, intelligent leaders in the world in exciting and challenging situations. I strongly believe this is another message that needs to be reinforced in our boys.
Those are important reasons, Jim. I so agree. But exploring the moon, How did you choose that venue?
Well, I'm biased, as I've been interested in astronomy and space exploration since I was a kid. My academic studies and career have been in meteorology, and I bring a scientist's viewpoint to Liquid Moon. In fact, in reading to keep informed about space exploration and exploitation, I got the idea to write this book.
So what you're saying, this isn't just fiction. It may be the future, too.
Yes, this is fiction for now, but very soon may be reality. I made the story as scientifically and contemporaneously accurate as I could make it, based upon reading journals and reports and following various research threads. And also, I include in the book some technical references for readers to investigate themselves. You see, there's a new space race happening right now, and it's focused on finding and extracting water on the moon. Yes, we're almost certain large quantities of water reside below the surface of the moon, but the bulk is focused in a very cratered area of rough terrain known as the lunar South Pole. Getting there and safely down on the surface will be a dangerous adventure in itself. And U.S. astronauts in a joint NASA private sector mission may attempt the first landings by 2027. Then comes sampling to find the water and constructing facilities to extract and store the water.
What is the big deal about water on the moon, Jim? We've got plenty on Earth.
True, Lana, but it's like real estate. The most important three aspects are location, location, and location. At least that's what the real estate agents say. Astronauts toting large amounts of water with them from Earth is too expensive. Carrying that weight on expensive rocket trips is a financial killer. Humans have to live off the land of the moon if they're going to be there longer than a few days. With water actually harvested from the moon, astronauts have a cheap source for electricity generation because hydrogen fuel cells make use of water. The raw material for rocket fuel comes from water, water for agriculture in a pressure and temperature controlled greenhouse, and of course, water for drinking. So they moved from exploring the moon to exploiting it, living there, and later even servicing space flights to deep space, which would love to get cheap lunar water. So in Liquid Moon, Tom Gordon, the main character, the 16-year-old, is a trailblazer for outer space exploration and colonization. A tremendous adventure for anyone, and not bad at all for a 16-year-old.
Boy, I should say so. Can you give us some hints about the plots and characters too, Jim?
Yes, thank you, absolutely. Let me start with some of the characters. I mentioned Tom Gordon, the 16-year-old, who is a very smart youngster and is already taking college courses and working on engineering projects focused on the moon. Now, it helps a lot that Tom's father and mentor, Dr. Phil Gordon, is the executive VP of the company known as Aqualuna Corporation, which, you guessed it, is one of the first companies that is building the infrastructure for water harvesting at the lunar South Pole. Dr. Gordon is a committed Christian, a former Space Force pilot and astronaut. Tom's friend Ed Driggs, who's 8 years older, also looks to Dr. Gordon as a close mentor and has patterned his life after that of Dr. Gordon. And Ed, who works for Aqualuna, is already on the moon helping build out the water mining operation. So this is a period where the private sector has taken the lead in pushing the limits of human exploration, and it's exciting, fast-paced, and sometimes chaotic. Imagine a lunar Wild West. This is not far-fetched, as Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and other hyper-wealthy business people are setting the stage for such a future right now. But biblical truths follow mankind wherever we travel. So we're at your plot question now. With all the niches and influences of lunar development will unleash, human greed, egotism, selfishness, and love of power will follow us to the moon too. And without giving the story of Liquid Moon away, the characters I mentioned are confronted from the very beginning of the story with their plans going very strangely wrong and people being put in harm's way. So how do principled, faithful men and a boy choose to behave in a high-stakes reality of action, danger, and maybe felonious crime? Especially when the closest law enforcement is 240,000 miles away and several days from the Earth?
Sounds like a riveting story, all right. You've thought of everything. Where can readers find Liquid Moon?
Well, you can find Liquid Moon along with my other books at Amazon.com. Just search with the title and my name, James Yarbrough, Yarbrough. Or you can visit my website, www.jamesYarbroughAuthor.com. If you go to my website, you can also sign up for my free periodic newsletter, too. I include updates of my writing and some other fun information.
Well, Lana and Jim, I'm afraid that's all the time we have today. Thanks to you both for a great interview. Thanks to another member of our team, my wonderful hubby, Colonel Larry Green, who is our sound and engineering chief. You can find all the books we mention on Amazon. Look up the author's name and the book they discussed. On our next broadcast of We've Got Books, we'll interview Lana Newman-Cruzy and her book, Broken Cups Hold Love. And you'll certainly not want to miss that interview. And until our next time together, thank you and happy reading.